A lot of mixed reactions. Some people say initially they were afraid, but now they feel safe. Others are really concerned about the naval-based security and what that could mean in a mass event in the future for the entire Millington community. I don't think there was a dry eye earlier today when we were having a press conference to talk about this tragic accident. The family here at Le Bon, or the staff, everyone is like a family here, and this really deeply impacts everyone here. Are the Black Friday deals all they're measured up to be? A lot of the shoppers think so. Over at Target, they had a 50-inch TV. It's $370 off. A lot of the other TVs are $100 off. School board members David Pickler and David Reeves said Germantown Mayor Sharon Goldsworthy asked them to approve it for her, so that way they could just go ahead and move past the municipal schools lawsuit and move forward with their own school district in Germantown. Shelby County School System is saying not just yet. They say the process is the same as it always has been. They're going to monitor the forecasts as well as the city and county conditions as this weather comes about. While the sign from management posted here on the Highland Smoke Shop says, "We do not sell bath salts, so don't ask." Businesses say that's hard to believe when they're going around picking up bath salt and potpourri drug wrappers. It's a concern for a lot of people, and it may actually, according to some doctors, lower the costs by getting this obese population back to a healthy weight, a prevention method. But it all starts with the insurance-covered treatments. Bryant is now a pastor in name only. He has no authority, no congregation, and no church to call home. Everyone's like, you know what? Yeah, we may not have had the past seasons, but Fuente's bringing good energy, and everyone wants to actually go to the games this year. But some sneaky elves at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital had some magic up their sleeves. See how these elves got off the shelves and onto the side of the hospital building. Bricks are too short for your breakfast.
I gotta finish that.
Well, I can do this for you. This is Ernie Freeman. It's Friday, December 27th, and I'm Sarah Bleau. A lot of different things out here. I'm joined now by David Buck, and he's an antique realtor. And you brought out a lot of the stuff you said you can't sell in the store. What do parents need to do afterwards, after they find out their child is diagnosed? I know you probably have to let the schools know. Parents probably need to gather a lot of information. It is Labor Day weekend. The kids are so excited to have off, but parents, how do you keep them entertained when trying to figure out how to bring back and revitalize the Broad Avenue area? David Wayne, the Business Association president here, thought about who really spends a lot of time in this area. And that was the artist. So in 2009, Broad Avenue was officially commissioned as an art district. Now that they have found her, Eric's now focusing on searching for who did this and why they would kill his little girl.
We're happy go-getting. She loved everything.
Very loving, very playful. It's a very big loss.
Just 1 month after getting a new puppy, 11-year-old Jessica Williams disappeared and was found dead the next morning.
She was about 6:30 last night. She was right there in the gate playing with her dog. And I went in and take a shower after weeding in the yard and came back out and she was gone.
And then went out County Road 122 toward Big Lake, because the little girl's puppy was found in that vicinity, so they started searching all that area. It was there in a ditch by a bridge near Big Lake.
Sheriff come up and told me
that Jessica was found dead.
I had lost it.
The Mississippi County Sheriff's Department says they are still investigating, but add this may not be an accident based on where Jessica's home is and where she was found 3.5 miles away. It was a large distance from the residence. It's kind of hard to believe that this victim walked that far by herself. Jessica's father, Eric Williams, doesn't understand why anyone would harm his loving daughter.
How could they live with themselves?
Now all he has left of her is a puppy.
Loved her dog.
That continues to bark for a playmate that will never be coming home. And this investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with information about a car or someone around the 5300 block of North County Road 503 between 4 in the afternoon and onward is urged to call the Mississippi County Sheriff's Department. Now, residents I spoke with in Gosnell and Mississippi County say it's actually pretty normal for kids to be playing alone in their small community. We're going to have more on that coming up on Fox 13 News at 10. Reporting live in the studio, Sarah Bleau, Fox 13 News. To say she's outraged is an understatement. If Commissioner Mike Ritz receives the approval to rezone and have 9 school board members for next year, and each of those receiving a $20,000 raise each, that's a whopping $180,000 being spent on these raises. And the SCS employee I spoke with says it feels like a slap in the face.
I don't see how an individual
would look at getting $20,000 more, and then you got peoples that's not working. You got teachers that's been laid off.
Wanda Long, a cafeteria worker for the Shelby County school system, makes about $10,000 annually. Now she's shaking her finger at a Shelby County Commission committee that recommended $20,000 raises for school board members.
We work very hard, and I'm quite sure that they don't work as hard as we do in that cafeteria, under a lot of stress, under a lot of heat, and everything that you can imagine.
The recommended $20,000 salary increases come during the same year when 2,000 SCS employees were laid off to help cope with a multi-million-dollar budget shortfall.
Just 2 weeks ago, this school board announced that they've lost $48 million of equipment. We've asked teachers to take pay cuts. We've cut salaries. We've cut benefits. We've had to lay off employees.
Why were we getting our vacation checks taken from us, and we wasn't going to receive any benefits anymore for sick leave?
For at least one board member, he plans to refuse the raise.
If I get it, I will donate every penny of it to the Shelby County Schools Education Foundation. I don't want to have anything to do with this funding.
But Long isn't buying it.
This is a layover for them. So they could say, oh, we didn't ask for this, we didn't ask for that. That's a lie.
Wrong words there. Now, Long says she's also concerned about those temp workers being paid even less than she is. Now, last night, those in favor of the school board members' raises said that they need to increase their salaries to attract qualified, passionate board member candidates in the future. Residents in the Colonial Apartments are coming together after Friday night's fire, lending some items, helping find lost pets, but it still doesn't replace the homes, the history, and the memories that were lost.
You spend your life accumulating and building things that you love, and they really are just things, but when you lose them, it hurts.
This is Robert Cole's first time walking in his apartment in daylight following Friday's fire.
Everything is soaked and it's pretty much gone. It's ruined.
Charred French doors and charcoaled walls are all that remain after the fire gutted 6 apartments.
It just smelled like that there should be flame and smoke coming from this smell. I went around to the front hallway, and when I opened the door, it was just gray smoke.
I was very scared. My roommate and a friend of his, the friend said, the place is on fire, you need to get pictures. I did get a family portrait.
Winfred Johnson has owned this building for 13 years. He says it will cost thousands of dollars and countless hours to repair his beloved building.
This is a real historical piece right here, and I've been proud of it for years. I've did a lot of work, spent a lot of money on it, and to see something like that is, kind of messes you up a little.
Cole was able to salvage a few items from his apartment.
A piece of my life that I love dearly.
But the rest, including an antique fire truck, is ruined. For him, it means starting over.
It's tough, but I've had to do that a lot of times. And when God closes one door, he opens a bunch of windows, and he's opened a lot of windows and doors for me in the past, so I pray he'll do it again.
Now, Johnson says he's very glad that the apartment complex had firewalls between the different wings of the building. Otherwise, he expects a lot more damage would have been done to the rest of the complex. Now, the Memphis Fire Department is still determining the fire's cause at this time. Reporting in the studio, Sarah Bleau, Fox 13 News. Brittany and David Spence spent nearly 2 months at Le Bonheur's pediatric intensive care unit as their firstborn son clung to his life. He lived just 55 days, but the family is making miracles at Le Bonheur as they've turned a tragedy into triumph. Forrest was David and Brittany Spence's first child.
Didn't know if he was a boy or a girl.
That wasn't the only thing they didn't know. They also didn't know he'd be born with a Group B strep infection and a grade 3 head bleed.
The staff and doctors and nurses all said, it's not a big deal. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Around 4 a.m., we get a knock on the door, and in walks a very disheveled physician with a lab coat and holding a cup of coffee. I'll never forget it. And his first words were, "I'm Dr. So-and-so, and I'm afraid your son may die."
The first day you have a kid, they tell you that they may not live, and then the whole game changes. And Brittany and I joke about the book, What to Expect When You're Expecting. You know, every mother reads this, every young mother uses it as a resource. And yet there's no chapter on what to do when everything doesn't go as planned.
Brittany remembers every single day. Day 32, neurosurgeons finally allowed her to hold Forrest. Day 51, things took a turn for the worse. On day 55, at 10 o'clock at night, Forrest passed away.
I can look back and see so much of the beauty because I got to hold him and be a part of his life. But everything I had envisioned being a mom was not that way. You know, I didn't get to take him home. I didn't get to nurse him or wake up with him or, you know, do those things. This was the only home my son ever had, was at Le Bonheur. And those nurses were his family.
In the midst of her son's death, an idea was born.
That weekend that we knew we were losing him, David looked at me and said, "I want to do something. I want to do something more. All these people have loved us and supported us through this, you know, almost 2 months of a journey." And he said, "I want to start a fund, and I want to call it the Forrest Spence Fund."
I want to do something to carry on his legacy. And two, I want to do something to give back to these families that didn't have the luxury of having the support that we did.
And I looked at him and thought, "You're insane. Our child is dying, and you're thinking about how we can help others." And I'm thinking, I may not survive this.
But she did survive through creating the Forrest Spence Fund. In 6 years, the Spences have raised more than $500,000 that helps pay for the Forrest Spence sibling playroom at Le Bonheur and any non-medical needs for the families.
To see that we're able to turn such a tragedy and such a hardship in our own life into something positive. And so it's fun to see people come out and support the cause, be a part of the fundraising effort that allows us to really give back to Le Bonheur.
Part of the funds also pay 100% of grief counseling costs for families that lost a child, something Brittany's church did for her when she lost Forrest.
There is no guidebook. There is no manual on how to go on with life after you've lost your child. There's nothing that says do this and do this and do this and you'll be okay. So counseling is one of those things I think that really can help you. Are you getting hungry?
The Spences now have 3 other children.
Oh, who is it?
And their firstborn lives on through the Forrest Spence Fund.
This fund is, it's our baby. I mean, it really is. I feel him every time I'm talking to a family. I feel him with me. Every time I'm pushing buy on Amazon for a family, I really do. He's a part of it all, and none of this would have been a part of us or our story if it wasn't for him.
And one of the ways the Spences raise money for the Forrest Spence Fund is with the Forrest Spence 5K, which is coming up this weekend, Saturday, August 24th. Nearly 900 people are already signed up, and they're hoping to raise $50,000. Reporting live in the studio, Sarah Bleau, Fox 13 News.